when raising independent children means losing the relationship there. As a common belief in certain parenting philosophies. If you are strict enough, if you refuse to coddle, if you make your children solve everything on their own, they will grow into unshackable, hyper-competent adults who don't need anyone. On the surface, that sounds admirable. But here's the quieter question. If your goal is to raise children who don't need you at all, why would they want you later? The myth of radical self-sufficiency in developmental psychology. Independence is not the opposite of attachment. It is the result of secure attachment. Researchers like John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth demonstrated something counterintuitive. Children explore the world most confidently when they have a secure base. Security produces independence. Neglect does not. When children are consistently met with emotional unavailability, or with rigid figure-it-out-yourself responses, they may indeed become self-reliant. But that self-reliance is often defensive. It says, "I learned early that help is not coming." That kind of independence is efficient. It is strong. It is survival-oriented. But it does not automatically produce warmth. The confusion around tough love. Tough love was originally meant to describe boundary setting in situations of destructive behavior. Addiction, chronic irresponsibility, or harmful patterns. In that context, stepping back prevents enabling. But when tough love becomes a general parenting philosophy, when emotional support is equated with weakness, something else happens. Children adapt. They stop asking. They stop reaching. They stop expecting. And when they become adults, they don't suddenly reverse that pattern. If they learn that vulnerability leads nowhere, they won't offer it. If communication attempts were ignored or minimized, they may stop initiating them. And then the parent may say, "They never call." But adult relationships, including those between parents and adult children, follow the same rule as any other relationship. No interaction, no relationship. Independence without reciprocity. There's another paradox here. If a parent consistently signals, "You're on your own, solve it yourself, I don't rescue," the child may internalize, "I don't need you." And if that message is reinforced over decades, through minimal communication, lack of emotional curiosity, or one-sided interaction, the adult child may eventually treat the parent like any distant acquaintance, not out of spite, but out of pattern. If you treat your children as radically independent individuals with no expectation of mutual engagement, they may grow into adults who relate to you that way. Functional, polite, detached. When hyper-independence becomes distance, hyper-independence often looks admirable from the outside. They don't ask for money. They don't ask for help. They handle their own crises. They rarely complain. But internally, the belief can be, needing people is unsafe. That belief doesn't switch off at age 30. If anything, it becomes more entrenched. And when a parent later desires closeness, the adult child may not know how to pivot. The emotional muscle was never developed. The responsibility shift in adulthood. Parents are responsible for children. Adult children are not responsible for parenting their parents. But once everyone is grown, relationships become voluntary. They require mutual effort, communication, emotional reciprocity, curiosity. One side stops reaching. The bond weakens, just like any other adult connection. Biology does not maintain relationship. Interaction does. The hard question there is a difference between teaching resilience and de-anging emotional isolation. There is a difference between setting boundaries, winged wing, whole connection. If the long-term outcome of strictness is that your adult child avoids vulnerability with you, or avoids you entirely, was the independence worth the distance? The balanced version of strength, the healthiest form of strength, looks like this. I can survive alone, but I choose connection. That choice only happens when connection has felt safe. Children who are supported, not rescued, not smothered, not abandoned, often grow into adults who don't need their parents financially, but still want them relationally. And that want is the difference. Sometimes what looks like cold detachment in one generation creates hard detachment in the next.